Welcome to CyberOXtales, the podcast where cybersecurity scenarios meet reality. In each episode, we'll sit together with the top cyber pros to dissect major security incidents, giving you actionable insights and practical advice to fuel your playbooks and success. Ready? Let's go.
Hello. Hi, I am Neatsun Ziv. I am your host today at CyberOXtales. And today with me, we've got Jim. So Jim, before I start introducing you, you're actually a third generation teacher. This is amazing. Start with that. Introduce yourself.
So my grandfather, Sam Manico, he started the North Colony Teachers Association. So he's a history professor and a docent at the Saratoga battlefield. And so like a good Sicilian, he started a union, the North Colony Teachers Association and union. So he's my grandfather, back in the day is a high school history professor, but he's like, he's a loud, bold, everyone kind of knows he's around kind of guy, like a lot of my family. My dad is a college professor. He taught at Siena College, taxation accounting for many years, and he teaches at SUNY Albany now in retirement, I believe. He just finished that up. So my dad's been a college professor and a tax man his whole life. So me, I've been a programmer. When I started writing code early in my career, I realized security, there's not a lot of guidance. This is like the late 90s building enterprise websites, and security is an afterthought. So every time I learned a security trick, I realized it was special, and I recorded all these security tricks in my favorite medium, PowerPoint. So now I have thousands of PowerPoints on how to write secure code, and I've used that to start a business, and I've been a professional educator and PowerPoint jockey for about 15 years now. That's my story.
Amazing. So let me zoom out from the beginning. A few years back, cyber was government grade. And as we started seeing more and more groups.
What does government grade mean? What do you mean by government grade? That's a loaded term if I ever heard one, right?
So governments had the power, the influence, the ability to make cyber attacks. And there weren't a lot of, I would say, groups that handled it by themselves. It became a phenomena back in, let's say, mid-2010, maybe just before that. It became a phenomena of groups making money out of this.
Like firewalls, days and stuff like that.
But now we're in a stage that all you need is Wi-Fi and some AI basic model, and you can find whatever you want online. Take us through this process. Just how does this accommodate for you?
So I don't want to mention any names, but I'm on a big WhatsApp chat list, with a whole bunch of like top security people around the world. I don't know how I got looped into this. And some guy's telling me that he and his team, they're doing a large team doing manual code review as security effort. And my immediate thought was, are you using AI to assist in this? No, we're not allowed to. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like a team of like highly paid dinosaurs using like sticks and rocks to draw. It's what went through my mind, because the idea of doing that kind of assessment in my world is gone. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, and it's not super effective. So like the ability to assess code, assess security, set up AI-driven defenses, and to do security assessment, and to do offensive activity, and to build proof of concepts, the economy of all of this has radically changed in the last year. And
okay, so tell me, how do you measure this?
Sorry.
No, take us back. What changed? How does it look right now?
Right now, I say 2 years ago, when I would talk about vibe coding and using AI for software engineering, most people were like, "You're crazy, Manico. That's garbage. It's never going to work. We need people." Now, today, I would say maybe 2-3% of the developers I look at, they're now all in building engineering harnesses around vibe coding. They're not prompting for code. That's gone. They're doing things like having an iterative conversation with AI about the requirements, building machine readable requirements that are very detailed, almost like a kind of metacode, and using that to get different AI engines to write software, and all kinds of other engineering harnesses and different kind of review loops and a whole different take on unit testing. So people that are doing that, AI coding is like the majority of their work. Some of the top developers in the world have said, I'm done writing code. I'm now prompting AI for the majority of my work. Not because like Claude is ready to go now. I don't think that's the case, because they understand how to build engineering harnesses around these AI tools in a very mature way. Those folks, they're like all in on AI coding, and that was unheard of a year ago or so, I would dare say.
Okay, so let me take you to the same place. Do you believe that we're going towards the ideal location where nobody's writing code, you're describing it? If so, how do you imagine this happening?
I'm all in believing that's the direction that we're going in, even with today's models, because it's about doing things like system prompting and requirement generation and setting up architectural documents and descriptions. And instead of just letting AI go crazy and write code, you're giving it much more specific instructions around architecture, around unit testing, around code quality requirements, around security requirements. If you know what you're doing and build those mature harnesses around, I think all in is happening even today with the current top tier models. And I would even dare say this is only gonna accelerate. The more time goes on, the less I'm gonna need a harness, and the more the models will handle a lot of this on their own. I see that every iterative release, from like ChatGPT 5.1 to 5.2, from 5.2 to 5.3, I'm expecting another big leap. You know, the current version at this time of Claude is fairly game-changing in terms of its leap in capacity. So I think in the future, the all-in for AI coding is going to be more accessible to everyone at a higher quality level. I would say today, if you want high quality out of AI software engineering, there's a lot of like DevOpsy infrastructure and prompting work that you need to do around your software engineering processes, and that's not as accessible to everyone. So, anyways.
So let's say that somebody's right now hearing this and saying, hey, you know what, I am great developer, but I need to update my skill right now towards the new world. What would you suggest for this person to do?
Just in general, go spend the $20 and get like a ChatGPT account Pro, like the $20 a month account. Do the same with Claude and use them a lot to experiment with the low-level coding capability to start with. Once you understand that, I would start looking at things like Claude Code and Codex and understand their agentic and automation capabilities around their core model. Understanding how to interact and talk to a model to write code is a very different skill than using Claude Code and all of the automation to build and maintain a software project. And I think that's the leap you want to make. Step one is understanding basic interactions with the model, but step two, you have to understand the orchestration frameworks and what's the best way you can utilize some of those services for your own project. Because something like Claude Code or Codex right now, there's an infinite number of ways to configure these engineering harnesses for AI coding. But I think that's the key thing. I know some developers who do normal development and they just use their models as a code helper in a kind of like an amped up way. And they get a lot of benefit from that. That's still helpful. But there's another class of developers who are like putting their entire project into the orchestration frameworks for coding and going more all in and using AI as the main engine for writing software. Those are two different teams of AI coders that I see right now. I'm interested in both of them, but the full like orchestration capabilities blow my mind. And
Okay, wait. Let me try to take you in another direction. So,
go for it.
as you recall, last year we started 25 with RAG being the thing. I'm not sure if you recall, it's a year ago, but then everybody in the industry just talked about RAG as the new thing in AI. Then we started seeing more code writing. Then we started seeing Cursor. And a few days ago, we actually got, all of us, OpenClaw and Moltbot as part of today's reality. It's like,
Love it.
what do you think this? What do you think about OpenClaw, especially with the new dating app for AI models, Moltbot?
Okay, Neatsun, this is mind-boggling what's happened in the last 2 months. The rise of Clawdbot, renamed to Moltbot, renamed to Clawbot, and part of the OpenClaw project, right? 3 names in 2 months. So I'm gonna tell you where I'm at. I went to Apple and I bought a Mac Mini. It should be here in 2 days. And guess what I'm gonna put? Guess what I'm gonna do with my Mac Mini? I'm gonna put Clawbot on it, and there's a million things I want to do with it already to help.
Jack already did that one. It's
I'm
up
gonna
and running.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I set it up on my work machine. Then I started seeing some of the research that our guys actually published saying it is so easy to trick Clawbot at this point. I'm removing it. But this is before I connected it to Moltbot.
Change all your security tokens.
Done. Already
Your
did
phone compromised. No. So let me explain you how I'm doing this. I'm putting Clawbot on a separate segment of my network, and I'm giving it near root access to my machine, but I want it to like analyze my email. So I'm gonna give it like access read only to one folder that I set up. No move email, no write email. You can read one of my folders that I'm gonna stage up if I want you to be looking at things. Number one. Number two, I'm giving it admittedly read only access to my calendar. I'm tempted to not give it edit privileges, but let it write new invites to my calendar that I have to approve. So now, if I'm compromised, what can someone do? They can read one of my email folders that I'm controlling, and they can like add invites to my calendar, which anyone in the world can do anyways through Calendly. So I'm locking it down. I'm researching how I can give it a full high-end lockdown firewall with no ports open, and it will just call out to do things and never need an incoming request, like a polling mechanism where
the
it's
amount of security risk with that.
What's that?
I'm saying that the amount of security risk out there, because when you set it up and you want to register to the Mobook, you're going to figure out, okay, I need to actually go into my X account and verify my agent, and saying, oh, where am I going to do that? So I need to do that on my regular PC and not my separated PC, because I started with that, removed it from my workstation, opened the new Mac, installed it over there in isolation, but then you need to register and you need to give it access. So it's like, you understand it's going to collide? Everybody's too afraid to do it right now.
I've already gone through a few of the Moltbot security guides. There's some features I'm not gonna leverage for myself. Every step of the way, I'm going to make good security decisions because this is what I do for a freaking living. I'm going to be aware that this is my identity I'm starting to mess with. I'm going to use OAuth 2 across the board to get myself limited access tokens, different services. I'm not giving any passwords or high-end keys. I'm giving limited access tokens to Moltbot to do certain things, and I'm going to monitor all this carefully. So
I've seen people do MCP porter, and they give all the permission to the MCP porter and allowing just that to connect to the MCP porter, so the Clawbot will not hold any permissions.
So you know what else I'm going to do? I'm having Moltbot do a creative project for me. So I want to give it access to my Amazon account and give it access to a bank account so it can buy stuff on its own for a project. So I opened up a separate account with a limited amount of money to let it play with it. And so I'm going the other direction, buddy. I really...
You're saying, what can possibly go wrong with that?
Well, they'll drain my bank account. So I don't give my big bank account to Moltbot. I set up a separate account just for multi. And if someone drains it, it's a measured risk. So I just think it's so important to understand how to use this technology that I do something I rarely do. I bought hardware. I've read all the security guides. I'm going to write my own security guide as I set it up because there's a few things I want to do for myself I haven't seen in guides. But Neatsun, if you take it seriously and you make good decisions, you and me should be able to set this up at a good security posture. But you're right. The average person
I'm not sure about that.
Gives Moltbot an admin password to crazy stuff? No, that's not wise. Anyways, I'm so excited about it.
No, I'm just saying that I think that when we're going to see the amount of security risks going into this, that is going to be insane. and the
Oh
amount of
yeah,
people that are going to be hacked because of that.
I
And I'm
love
talking
it.
about like hack to the Gmail account. I'm talking about
Oh,
bank
yeah,
accounts.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to see my bank account get hacked through Moltbot because I'm giving it a limited account that I'm not afraid to lose because I want it. I want to experiment with this. And you're right, it's
So I
going to be
do have a
brutal.
friend.
When you set up Moltbot or you set up Clawbot, just set it up for compromise. I am ready for someone to own my Clawbot fully. I'm ready to take that and be okay.
So some friends are right now working on a few projects. One of them sent me in a group that I'm in a mail yesterday saying, I wanted to print invites to a conference, and I had this printer that prints badges, but it only required their own specific app. He created a loop saying, I've got a video camera looking on the printer, and both of them are connected to the same USB. He connected to Moltbot and say, hey, iterate until you're able to print my name. And Moltbot just worked with the USB using the vision from the camera. And he said within an hour, he figured it out. He figured the protocol by itself, and he was able to print not from a specific app, just from a CLI, which was no documentation of the protocol whatsoever. That is mind-boggling.
I can't
Please
wait.
send a picture, but I'm not sure I can publish it in this format.
I'm ready. I'm ready to give Moltbot my bank account.
Okay, it sounds like you're ready for marriage. Really that.
That's the most misogynistic thing. Don't cut this out. Do not. That's not appropriate. That's not an appropriate comment at all. It's true, but it's not appropriate. Let's move on.
Okay, let me take you back. Great, we've seen Moltbot. We've seen where it's going. How are the adversaries going to play this card?
Oh, I could just see people are giving Moltbot admin access with their credentials to critical accounts, and that's not going to go well. It's. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Everything gets hacked. It will be part of the fun. But again, I still think it's important to understand, like, why is everyone in the tech world installing this and working on this already? Why? Because the capability to do more. AI gives me like triple, quadruple power, and now Moltbot will automate all of that in a way that has not been easy up until that project showed up. All those capabilities were possible. Like, I can't even begin to fathom the things that I've seen people do in the last week with Moltbot to automate their lives and to automate research. Like, for example, I may want to build a set of research I want to research a certain segment of the industry. So I'm going to use AI to do some basic research for me and save it in a local wiki. And then I'm going to go out to Moltbook and look at what every other AI engine and AI agent is saying about this and collaborate with Moltbook with about 250,000 other AI engines on this topic and then grab what I like for my own internal research. And like, so now we have.
That's the mind-boggling part, saying my agent is going to talk about my challenge with others, and maybe somebody already solved it.
Yeah.
And you think about it, and it actually makes everything that we know about the problem solving redundant. It will be your agent going to the internet, talking in Moltbook language, whatever it's going to be, because hey, it started as English. I'm not sure it will continue as English. English is great for people. It's not an efficient way to transfer knowledge between AI bots. Meaning at some point we can be excluded from.
No, it's already happened. No, it's already happened. Various Moltbots have already set up a private communications channel so their human operators can't watch and cross talk with each other. This already happened about 3 days ago.
So what's the time gap from here to sign it?
You know what? I'll let government officials deal with policy. Right now, it's the Wild West, and as a security engineer and technologist, it's my job to learn how to use this technology and how to teach my customers to utilize it in a secure fashion. And that's my mission. And a lot of people are like, what about ethics? You know what? There's a lot of people talking about ethics. I'll let them do that. There's a huge debate as to whether or not we should be all in in letting AI technology run rampant right now. But policymakers above my pay grade have made that call. And even the EU AI Act is getting neutered and reduced so everyone can experiment with this technology. And so that's my job. That's why I'm here professionally, is to analyze the tech and give my customers education advice on how to utilize it securely. Because the cat's way out of the bag. And yeah, the risk is huge. But like I said, I'm only giving my instance limited access tokens, which is the heart of zero trust computing in the first place. So, man, I'm going to do it in a risk managed way and write about it. That's what I'm doing.
If somebody from the security team, CISOs, AppSec engineers are hearing this, what would be your advice regarding OpenClaw?
I think you should have I should hold off on using it cross-company. I would ban it at the enterprise level, but I'd have researchers actively understanding how to set up best practices for the company, because I'm going to want every single person in the company to have their own Moltbot or enterprise Moltbots, or I'm sorry, Clawdbot or Clawbot. There you go. I want the whole company doing this, so they can automate their job and be able to run a fleet of agents to help them and the organizations they work for. But today, you really need to be a fairly high-end security architect to roll it out from a security point of view really well. So I think big companies should be experimenting and learning this technology to be prepared to deliver it and lock it down for their users. Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. Let's say that I'm right now working for a large enterprise. I've installed OpenClaw on my work machine. What are the risks?
What are the risks?
What are the risks? Just name them for everybody.
You just give an autonomous AI agent admin access to your machine and all your secrets. No one should be installing this on their work computer. This is like the first sentence in every install guide.
No, so, you're absolutely right. But you remember that the Ashley Madison hack was published and somebody did the research saying, hey, what's the most common password? And you see that over 30% of the people over there mark their password as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, there is guidance. And of course, people already provided their DoD emails and many more on Ashley Madison. I'm just taking it as an example, saying this is going to happen exactly the same thing in enterprises OpenClaw.
Keep in mind, these are agents that are cross-collaborating. Absolutely, I can envision a prompt injection worm that harnesses credentials across the whole Moltbot network. These are realistic possibilities. But the ability to roll out an autonomous, easy-to-program, agent-based AI system like this is taking AI and making it transformative at a whole different level. So I have two conflicting desires. I want to get this in the hands of my entire company and every staff member of the entire company as part of helping them do their job better and with higher quality. But that's in opposition to security right now. But Neatsun, I have a lot of faith in all of us. We're going to do great. We're going to figure out how to lock this down. There's already multiple security guides to rolling out Clawbot that are written really well. Use them and take that part of the rollout seriously. It's going to be.
It sounds to me like S3 buckets all over again.
Oh, it's always all over again, same as it ever was. But that's the job. My job is not until perfect security arrives. My job is to evaluate bleeding edge technologies, and if I'm going to not actually help my customer, then I'm going to tell them no, don't do it. That's what amateurs do. So what I'm going to say is, when my customer comes at me and says, I want to do this incredibly crazy risky thing and get like Clawbot in the hands of my staff, yeah, let's do that with as much risk management as we can do. Follow the security guides and do this with an architect to establish best practices. We can do it. Most people will not, but our job is to help people do it right. So we're going to do that.
Jim, first of all, thank you very much for the time and effort and making sure that everybody's educated on the recent trends. I want to thank you. Any last words for the audience?
Whoa. I just want to put a nod to what you're doing. Like Ox is building a pretty elaborate vibe coding orchestration framework themselves. And I just want to say the space that you're in is something I'm a big fan of. I applaud you for going all in on AI-based software engineering. I think people should check you out. I want to wish you and your business lots of success during these exciting times.
Thank you very much. And hopefully we can be here again and sharing more insights about the new trend that will come hopefully just within a few weeks from today.
Exactly. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.